Hi, this is Fred Barstein, the editor-in-chief at 401k TV, and I'm here today with Hugh O'Toole, who is the managing director of Viability Advisory Group, which is a new unit of MassMutual. And we're here to talk about presenting benefits to the CFO in a way that they can understand, and maybe in a way that they'll be able to pay a little bit more attention and give more resources to their retirement plan. So one of the things that we see a lot, Hugh, is CFOs care a lot about their defined benefit plan.
Absolutely.
But they don't care as much about their defined contribution plan. Why is that?
I think when you look at a defined benefit plan, it's very obvious to the CFO that they have the funding and investment risk of the defined benefit plan, because they ultimately are on the hook for whatever that defined benefit is on a monthly basis to that employee. On the defined contribution plan, and it was really a lot of work that a lot of consultants did, is they moved the CFO to a defined contribution plan to some degree to get away from that funding and investment risk. So their engagement on defined contribution is almost naturally less.
Right. So is there some funding and liability risk in defined contribution?
Yeah, I think this goes under almost unintended consequences. Everybody thought that risk disappeared when we put the responsibility on the employee. One thing I don't think we all looked at enough is that that employee that has that responsibility has a lot of other pressures in their life. So putting the necessary funding into a 401k, 403b, 457 plan might not be their top priority. So years later, we look at their funded status to getting to a natural retirement age, and they're drastically underfunded. That employee that can't retire on time will be an older worker that you're paying more from a wage, healthcare, risk management standpoint. That additional expense is coming back to the employer's financial statement.
So one of the things I notice with CFOs is they don't really react strongly to general research
Right.
and trends. I know that as you developed your company, you did a lot of market research and testing. So what did the CFO react to mostly?
Yeah, the CFOs were great. When I went out with really no agenda, I had nothing to sell them or service that I was going to provide to them. I just asked them, how do you look at your defined contribution plan? And, they are very caring people, but their basic message to me is their role as CFO was to make sure the employer could exist and that they could employ the people. They didn't necessarily make the connection. They were pretty blunt that they didn't understand how a defined contribution plan, 401k type of plan, had anything to do with the long-term viability of the employer.
And so how did you get them to see that?
Well, I really took all their input back. I talked to a number of the best advisors in the country and really listened to their dilemma in dealing with CFOs. And I went back to the CFOs and I said to them, if I could show you with your own data
Right.
exactly how this demographic shift is going to affect your long-term expense, would that be of interest to you? And unanimously, they said, I always thought of that, but nobody's really given me a metric to look at that.